It was a chilly Thursday morning when 65-year-old Linda James collapsed in her bathroom. She wasn't sick. She hadn't felt dizzy. In fact, her doctor had just told her at her last checkup that she was doing surprisingly well for her age. But when her husband found her on the floor, barely conscious and struggling to breathe, everything changed. Paramedics arrived within minutes. Her blood pressure was through the roof, and her heart was racing. They suspected a stroke or a heart attack. But scans later revealed neither. It wasn't her heart. It wasn't her brain. It was something far more silent and far more common. What nearly took Linda's life was one of the most harmless things she did every single day, the same way millions of older adults start their morning. Without thinking. Without knowing. When doctors finally traced the episode back to its cause, they were shocked at how simple and how preventable it had been. But it's not just Linda. Across the country, more and more seniors are unknowingly shaving years off their lives with tiny daily choices that feel normal, even healthy. The first hour of your day is powerful. It's when your brain is most sensitive, when your blood pressure rises naturally, when your organs start working to reboot after hours of rest. And it's when your body is most vulnerable to being thrown off course, especially as you age. In the next few minutes, we're going to reveal 7 subtle morning habits that could be secretly shortening your life. Habits that may be increasing your risk of heart disease, weakening your brain, damaging your metabolism, or even raising your chances of an early fall, fracture, or memory decline. Some of these habits sound like good advice. They've even been recommended in magazines, blogs, or casual doctor visits. But for older adults, the rules are different. The body is different. And what works in your 30s may backfire in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. So before you pour that cup of coffee, skip breakfast, or dive into the news, keep watching. You may be making one of these same mistakes already, and it could be costing you precious health, energy, or years you didn't even realize were slipping away. Let's begin. Habit number 1. Skipping water in the morning. You may think this sounds harmless, maybe even normal. After all, many people reach for coffee first thing, not a glass of water. But here's what happens behind the scenes. When you sleep, your body goes 6, 7, even 8 hours without any fluids. That entire time, it continues losing water through breathing, sweat, and natural detox processes. You may not feel thirsty when you wake up. But the truth is, your body is already dehydrated. And for older adults, even mild dehydration can be dangerous. It thickens the blood. It raises blood pressure. It stresses your kidneys, your heart, and even your brain. Studies have shown that seniors who are just slightly dehydrated experience greater confusion, dizziness, and fatigue. And it gets worse. Chronic dehydration is linked to faster cognitive decline, joint stiffness, constipation, and even a weakened immune system. Take the story of Harold, a 71-year-old widower who started every morning with 2 strong cups of black coffee and nothing else. He assumed that coffee was enough to hydrate him. But every afternoon he noticed the same symptoms creeping in: brain fog, joint aches, and low energy. His daughter, a nutritionist, gently suggested one small change. Start the day with a full glass of water before anything else. Harold resisted at first, thinking it would make no difference. But after 2 weeks of simply drinking water within the first 15 minutes of waking up, his afternoons improved. He felt clearer. His knees didn't ache as much. And surprisingly, his digestion improved too. This isn't magic. It is biology. Water helps flush out waste products that build up overnight. It wakes up the digestive tract, lubricates the joints, and even signals the brain that it is time to start functioning at full capacity. Coffee, on the other hand, is a diuretic. It causes more fluid loss. Starting the day with coffee and skipping water is like stepping on the gas while your tank is empty. If you are over 60, start your day with 1 to 2 glasses of room temperature water. Add a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon for added minerals and support. And do it before your coffee, before your pills, and before breakfast. It is simple. It costs nothing. And it may be one of the most powerful ways to protect your brain, your heart, and your energy, starting the moment you wake up. Now, let us move on to the second hidden habit that affects millions of older adults, even those who think they are living stress-free. This next one is especially important if you ever feel rushed in the mornings. Habit number 2, rushing through mornings with high cortisol. It started like any other weekday. Leonard, a 72-year-old retired accountant from Milwaukee, had kept up his old routine for decades. Wake up at 6:30, shower, toss back a cup of coffee, and head out the door for his volunteer shift at the community center. He prided himself on staying active, but one morning while walking to the bus stop, he suddenly collapsed. A passerby called for help, and paramedics rushed him to the ER. The diagnosis shocked him. He had suffered a mini-stroke, likely triggered by a combination of high blood pressure and elevated cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, spiking dangerously during his morning rush. Leonard couldn't believe it. "I wasn't even feeling stressed," he said. But that's the thing. Cortisol doesn't wait for you to feel anxious. It surges silently, especially in the morning, and especially when your routine involves rushing, tension, or even skipping breakfast. Most people don't realize this, but right after you wake up, your cortisol levels are already naturally at their peak. It's your body's built-in alarm system, nudging you to rise, think, move. But when you add fuel to that fire, by checking stressful messages, skipping meals, racing the clock, that cortisol doesn't just wake you up. It starts aging you faster. High morning cortisol has been linked to a host of problems in seniors: elevated blood sugar, increased belly fat, weakened immune response, and even memory issues. And over time, the damage adds up. A 2021 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that adults over 65 who experienced chronic morning cortisol spikes had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular events, including strokes. But it's not just physical. High cortisol in the morning can also hijack your mood, leading to irritability, low patience, and a sense of unease that follows you throughout the day. So what's the fix? You don't have to become a yoga guru or meditate for hours. You just need to create what researchers call a buffer zone, a short period after waking where you avoid triggers that escalate stress. That could mean spending 5 quiet minutes breathing deeply before getting out of bed, or listening to calming music while you prepare breakfast instead of scrolling through news headlines. Or simply getting up 10 minutes earlier so you don't feel rushed. Leonard, the man who collapsed? He made just one change. He started waking up 15 minutes earlier and taking a slow walk around the block before breakfast. No phone. No rushing. Within a month, he noticed his blood pressure was more stable, he felt less jittery, and his mornings had a sense of calm he hadn't felt in years. Your mornings don't have to feel like a race. They can be quiet, intentional, and healing. And the best part? That change doesn't take much, just a few minutes of stillness to let your body ease into the day, rather than jolt into it. Ready for the next change? Habit number 3, morning news doom scrolling. It was a typical Monday morning when 80-year-old Gloria sat down with her tablet, a cup of tea in hand. Her habit was simple: read the news, scroll through a few headlines, maybe catch up on her favorite morning show. But lately she noticed a strange pattern. Her mornings, once quiet and calm, now left her feeling anxious, tense, even sad, all before she had eaten breakfast. Her daughter, visiting one weekend, noticed the shift too. "You don't seem like yourself anymore, Mom," she said. Gloria brushed it off. "Just trying to stay informed," she replied. But when she started having trouble sleeping and her blood pressure ticked upward, the doctor asked a simple question: "What's the first thing you do every morning?" Gloria hesitated. "Or read the news." That seemingly harmless habit was doing far more harm than she realized. Today's news cycle is designed to shock, agitate, and hold your attention. And when your day begins with a flood of fear, disaster, anger, or tragedy, your brain and body don't just observe it. They absorb it. Studies have shown that consuming negative news first thing in the morning triggers the body's stress response, increasing cortisol, raising heart rate, and even weakening immune function over time. For seniors, whose resilience to stress is naturally lower, the impact is even more severe. There's also a deeper biological link. Repeated exposure to negative media has been associated with faster cellular aging. Specifically, chronic stress, even emotional stress triggered by what you read or watch, has been shown to shorten telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA that determine how fast your cells age. Shorter telomeres mean higher risk of disease, inflammation, and early death. And it's not just physical. Morning doom scrolling is one of the fastest ways to put your mind into a negative loop. You start the day on edge, expecting bad things, noticing irritations. You carry that energy into your conversations, your decisions, and even your posture. It compounds quietly every day until stress becomes your new baseline. But there's a way out. Some people choose to avoid news entirely in the morning. Others replace it with something uplifting, soft music, nature sounds, spiritual reading, even light-hearted television. Some simply sit with silence and let the morning unfold without digital interference. Remember Gloria? She decided to swap her news app for a walk to the park with her neighbor. No phones. Just conversation and fresh air. After 2 weeks, her sleep improved, her blood pressure dropped slightly, and, most importantly, her daughter said, "You seem like you again." It wasn't magic. It was a change in what her brain consumed first thing each day. What we feed our minds in the morning sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Would you rather start your day with fear and frustration, or calm and clarity? Habit number 4, skipping protein or fat at breakfast. 83-year-old Harold had been eating the same breakfast for over 3 decades. A slice of toast with jam, a banana, and a cup of black coffee. He called it light, heart-friendly, and easy on the stomach. But every day around 10:30, without fail, he'd get lightheaded, irritable, and unusually tired. "I just need another coffee," he would say. But coffee wasn't solving the problem, it was masking it. Harold's real issue wasn't his age. It wasn't his coffee. It was the fact that his breakfast was all carbohydrates, with no protein or healthy fat to balance it out. And that simple habit was quietly disrupting his blood sugar, draining his energy, and setting him up for long-term health risks. Many seniors grew up during a time when breakfast meant cereal, toast, fruit, or juice, quick, sweet, and easy. But here's the problem. Those meals spike your blood sugar. And what goes up quickly comes crashing down just as fast. That crash is what causes the fatigue, brain fog, and sudden cravings that so many people experience by mid-morning. Worse, repeated daily blood sugar spikes and crashes increase your risk of insulin resistance, a condition that often leads to type 2 diabetes, weight gain around the midsection, and even cognitive decline. For older adults already dealing with metabolism changes, skipping protein and fat in the morning only accelerates the problem. Protein is essential for stabilizing your blood sugar and preserving lean muscle mass, which naturally declines with age. And healthy fats, like those found in eggs, avocados, or nuts, support hormone balance, brain function, and long-lasting energy. When your first meal of the day includes both, your body gets a steady fuel supply, not a roller coaster ride. Let's go back to Harold. After his doctor explained the blood sugar connection, Harold made a simple change. He swapped his toast for 2 scrambled eggs and half an avocado. The banana stayed, but now it was part of a balanced plate. Within a week, his mid-morning slumps disappeared. He said, "I don't even need that second cup of coffee anymore." He was eating more, yet felt lighter, clearer, and more satisfied. That's the power of a well-balanced breakfast. Here's a simple tip to remember: eat for how you want to feel 2 hours from now. If you want to feel steady, alert, and energized, your breakfast has to support that. That means including protein like eggs, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese, and healthy fats like olive oil, chia seeds, or nut butter. You don't have to give up your favorite foods, just add the right ones beside them. In the next part, we'll look at a surprisingly common mistake that many seniors make with their medications, one that can lead to nausea, dizziness, or even dangerous falls. Habit number 5. Taking medications without food. Every morning at 7 a.m., Joan, a 72-year-old widow from Kansas, would shuffle into her kitchen, pour herself a glass of water, and take her morning medications, 5 pills, all at once, on an empty stomach. By 7:30, she'd start feeling nauseated. Some mornings she'd get lightheaded or dizzy. One morning, it was so bad, she fainted in the kitchen and hit her shoulder on the countertop. Her daughter rushed over and called an ambulance. After a long, stressful ER visit, the doctor asked a simple question: Did she take any medications before breakfast? That was the turning point. Many seniors take life-saving medications every day for blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid function, arthritis pain, or mood regulation. But what most people don't realize is that the timing and context of how you take those pills can make all the difference. Some medications are meant to be taken on an empty stomach, but many are not. Blood pressure meds, for example, can cause a sudden drop in pressure when taken without food, especially in the morning when the body is still adjusting from the sleep cycle. That drop can lead to dizziness, blurry vision, or fainting, all of which increase the risk of falls. Thyroid medications often require an empty stomach, but must be taken with water and followed by a careful wait before eating anything else. NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen can irritate the stomach lining if taken without food, leading to ulcers or chronic nausea over time. And antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds. Some can cause dramatic spikes or crashes in energy when taken without a stabilizing meal. The result: mood swings, jitters, or that all too familiar off feeling that's hard to explain. What happened to Joan? Her doctor reviewed her meds and discovered that 2 of them, a beta blocker and an anti-inflammatory, were best taken with a small meal. Once she adjusted her routine and took her pills after breakfast, the nausea vanished. The dizziness stopped. She never had another fainting episode. That's why it's so important to review your medications with your doctor or pharmacist, and to understand exactly how they interact with your meals, your body, and each other. If you take multiple medications in the morning, ask yourself, am I drinking enough water with them? Am I taking them before or after food, and is that correct? Could my breakfast or lack thereof be interfering with absorption or increasing side effects? A simple fix in your routine could save you from falls, digestive issues, or worse. Coming up next, the single natural medicine you can take every morning, totally free, that resets your brain, balances your hormones, and improves your immune health. And you don't even need to swallow a pill to get it. Habit number 6, not getting morning sunlight. 80-year-old Carl had a habit. After waking up, he'd shuffle from his bedroom straight to his recliner, switch on the television, and sip his coffee while watching the morning news. He rarely opened the blinds. Too bright, he'd say. His family noticed his mood had started to shift. He seemed groggier, more forgetful, and sometimes even down. Carl thought it was just age. But what he didn't realize was that one simple thing was missing from his mornings, and it was quietly taking a toll on his brain, his hormones, and even his sleep. That thing? Sunlight. Morning sunlight is more than just pleasant. It's one of the most powerful natural regulators of your circadian rhythm, which controls everything from your sleep-wake cycle to your mood and immune system. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, yes, even through a cloudy sky, it sends a message to your brain: wake up. It's daytime. Time to produce energy and focus. That light tells your body to stop making melatonin, the sleep hormone, and start producing cortisol in a healthy, balanced way. Not the stressful spike kind we talked about earlier, but the natural, steady kind that helps keep your energy level and brain alert. Without sunlight, your body stays in a confused, groggy limbo. You may feel foggy-headed, unmotivated, or worse, your body might still think it's nighttime, throwing your internal clock off entirely. And over time, this disruption in circadian rhythm has been linked to everything from weakened immunity to depression, weight gain, and even cognitive decline. Carl's doctor suggested something shockingly simple: step outside for 5 minutes every morning. No sunglasses, no phone, just fresh air and light. At first, Carl was skeptical. But within a week, he felt clearer in the mornings. His energy improved. He even slept better at night. Morning light doesn't have to mean a sun bath. A short walk on your porch. Sitting near a window with the blinds open. Even standing by your back door as the sun rises can make a difference. And the best part? It's free. No prescription needed. If you've been waking up sluggish, having trouble sleeping at night, or feeling off without explanation, this one habit might be your missing link. Seniors especially benefit from early daylight exposure. It's been shown to reduce the risk of depression, improve sleep quality, and help balance blood pressure and blood sugar. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes to reset your body's clock and put your morning, and your health back on track. Coming up, the final morning mistake that too many seniors ignore, and how one small movement ritual could protect your joints, prevent falls, and give your body the circulation boost it desperately needs each day. Habit number 7. Ignoring morning stiffness or pain. Evelyn, 73, was no stranger to stiffness in the morning. She'd sit on the edge of her bed for a few minutes each day, waiting for her joints to loosen up. Some mornings her knees ached, her lower back felt locked, and her ankles protested each step. Still, she brushed it off. "It's just old age," she'd say. "I'll walk it off." But one morning, that stiffness betrayed her. She stood too quickly, her knee buckled, and she fell hard onto the bathroom floor. A fractured wrist, bruised ribs, and weeks of painful recovery followed. What Evelyn thought was a harmless part of aging turned out to be her body's warning signal, one she had ignored for too long. Here's the truth: morning stiffness isn't just a nuisance. It's a red flag. It could be an early sign of arthritis, circulation problems, chronic inflammation, or even muscle degeneration. And the biggest mistake? Thinking it's something to ignore. When your joints are stiff in the morning, your body is telling you it needs gentle movement, blood flow, and support, not to be rushed or brushed aside. That's where a simple morning movement ritual comes in. Not exercise. Not stretching like an athlete. Just slow, mindful motion to wake up the joints and gently pump blood through the muscles. Try this. While still sitting on the bed, circle your ankles, rotate your wrists, and gently shrug your shoulders up and down. Stand slowly and take a few careful steps around the room. Reach your arms overhead and take a deep breath. This light activation tells your body, "I'm ready for the day," and primes your muscles and joints to move with less risk. Studies show that just 3 to 5 minutes of gentle morning movement can significantly reduce fall risk, improve balance, and enhance circulation. That's a powerful return for something so simple. And if you feel persistent pain in the same joints every morning, don't ignore it. That's not just aging. It could be early arthritis, joint inflammation, or even something structural. Getting it checked early can save you from injury or chronic pain down the line. Evelyn eventually learned this lesson. After her fall, she began each morning with 5 minutes of joint care and never skipped it again. She felt steadier, more in control, and most importantly, safe in her own home. Final thought: your mornings set the tone for your entire day. And over time, they set the tone for your health, your energy, and your aging. The small things you ignore, rush through, or do on autopilot may be adding years to your biological age without you even knowing it. But the good news? You can change all of it, starting tomorrow morning. Because when you take back your mornings, you take back your life. If you've ever lived through something like this, please consider leaving a comment in the comments section. You might be the person whose experience helps another viewer realize they're not alone. A single comment from you could be the reason someone else decides to speak up or become alert about their health. We request you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so that you are notified when our next video is live. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.